There were some. That's why there's a lot of great songs on there that really paint a picture for you and everything. That's one of the things you and I talked about when we spoke before, was you wanted the lyrical content to be something you had to take ownership of.
Absolutely.
So for you then, what's
Man, I don't know. You know, having a favorite. I mean, I'm partial to all of them. I think
they're all your children.
Well, yeah. I think that what people are hopefully find out about Pop Evil is we're a very mood-driven band.
Right.
You know, at least I'm a very mood-driven singer and writer. You know, I try to. We try to say, you know, like some of our favorite bands growing up. I know Dave and I grew up, you know, hand in hand. You know, we'd always listen to a lot of Stone Temple Pilots. You know, they could still rock your face, but still whip out an acoustic guitar and still make you cry. You know, and that to me was a rock star to me. You know, and like not just high intensity the whole way through or very soft the whole way through. You know, and you know, it depends on my mood. You know, I mean, when I'm cranking a Day's Nice, I'm cranking Broken and Betrayed. You know, Last Man Standing, Boss's Daughter. You know, when the lights are off, you know, I'm playing you know, Next Life. I'm playing Good with the Bad. Just that I think is just epitomizes what again 155 was. You know, if you really want it, you can't talk it. You know, you got to really bring it this day and age, especially with the economy being so crappy and as horrible as it is. That, you know, people want to see action. You know, just like Bin Laden getting caught. You know, yesterday or the day before. It's people want to see action. You know, they don't want to see you talk about it for 10 years. You know, we're getting them. We're going to get them this week. We're gonna get out there and make the good things happen. You know, we're going to have some bad things happen, but we're gonna still be a band. You know, and I know Dave preaches to the cows come home. You know, it's about staying together. It's about getting through these hardships. And it's our first A-list producer. First, in our opinion, this is our debut album, so we're excited. And it's hard to not listen to any one song and not be like, pinch yourself. Because I mean, we came from every band's got its story, but I can only speak from us, and it's been an over 10-year journey for all of us here, you know, to get to this particular spot, to have the music be, you know, as good as it is and as well produced as it is, you know, to have that kind of security. It's not easy to do these days. Money's so hard to find that there's a lot of bands, you have to cut corners. You don't have a choice. You know, and on our first album, we didn't have a choice. We didn't have money. We didn't have a label at the time when we first did this. We moved to Chicago. Everyone was involved. Everyone, you know, wrote, and it was just what you dream about as a musician. So I don't think when I listen to any particular song, it's just when I listen to the album, this was what we've all been waiting to. It's not about record labels at the end of the day. It's not about anything more than writing music that people are going to be able to have while we're dead and gone, you know, and kind of is a good reminder every time. But, you know, again, it's hard for me to pick one.
Nice political answer.
Yeah, it's tough.
What about you?
Favorite song on the album? I gotta agree with Tony and Dylan too. Like, for a long time for me it was Boss's Daughter, which is definitely my favorite to play live off the new album, because it's just
Definite balls out rocker.
Yeah, it just pushes forward, you know. But like, as far as my favorite one to just kick back and listen to, it's always kind of changing. Like Lee said, you know, your mood changes and whatever, you're more drawn to one song or another. Right now I really like Black and Blue. I know not a lot of people know that yet because the album's not out. We've only played it a few times live, but it's another one of those songs. It's kind of a sleeper track for me, where like you'll find yourself singing it, even though, you know, it's not like pushed in your face all the time. Like you'll find yourself catching the choruses. There's good hooky melodies and like drives all the way through.
All the songs on the album have, you know, it's not like we tried to write a hit, but they came out very melodic when you did the choruses and everything. And again, it's hard to do without it being contrived these days.
Yeah, I think. Well, I was gonna say too. I think that's one thing that we always try to make sure is it has to be melody. It has to be a hook.
Yeah.
The lyrics have to make sense. You know, they have to be relatable. They have to, like, everything has to work. You know, I think in order to make a song work.
Now, I'm good with the Bad you mentioned a minute ago.
Yeah.
Very much of a sort of a Leonard Skinner feel there, but there's one part on the bridge or whatnot where it's, I swear to God, you channeled Chris Robinson from the Black Crowes.
It's funny you say
that bridge?
Yeah, we said the same thing. It was actually originally written for Leonard Skinner.
Was it really?
But management didn't want to give it up. So I was like, all right, you know. So it was written in the same vein as, you know, when, you know, I was doing the 155 thing. You know, it's just, I grew up on the acoustic guitar, so, you know, I write a lot of my contributions to the band are on the acoustic. You know, I mean, I can't play the Like even Matt's a great electric guitar player, but Dave and Tony, Dave's got this Chris Robinson, Black Crowes vibe, and of course Tony and Matt bring this Pantera. I don't know what I bring these ballads or whatnot, but it's just kind of cool to just, again, I don't even have no desire to be a musician. I've always said I want to be a lyricist and a writer, you know, I mean, I'm a musician second, you know, and I think that's what I tried to do this album personally, you know, to say, hey, you know, I want to be held accountable for those lyrics. I really went to the drawing board to make sure, you know, every lyric, I didn't think about that going into Bridges. I didn't think about that in the pre-choruses, the first album, you know, it was just whatever. It's always been about hooks for us in Pop Evil, but you know, we thought about the little things, even with the bass riffs right in between the pre's and in the bridge, and you know, how are we gonna lift this pocket here, make sure that, you know, we elevate the song to the next level, whether, you know, any of those songs, the last chorus, whether it was a different lyric, you know, it was, you know, one of our favorite bands growing up, Our Lady Peace, you know, we just love how kind of they would take or even our favorite band, Splendor, you know, back in the day, you know, like they take that last chorus, even though you've heard it 2 other times, just give you little nuances. Maybe it's just a little a lyrical move, maybe it's a bass run, you know, maybe it's a guitar fill right with the vocal. That, you know, we just thought, like I said, this feels like our first record. You know, we thought like musicians would, and we thought like a band would. It wasn't just the lead singer going in there with the producer, you know, it was the lead singer going in with his 4 band members, you know, and trying to put together this musical entity that could stand alone, with as well as the vocal and the lyrics to stand alone by themselves. When you married the two, it was Pop Evil.
I mean, when you listen to the stuff that I grew up on and loved, it's always those nuances. Like when you listen to a song, you're waiting for that little guitar trill or that one drum fill or that one vocal nuance that happens. And those are memorable. The songs will always, I mean, every time you hear that opening chord to Cat Scratch Fever, you know what it is. Yeah. I couldn't tell you an Audio Slave song unless you put it on and said, oh, this is Audio Slave.
Right.
You know, and nothing against Chris Cornell, but it just doesn't last.
Absolutely.
So what about, can we get the camera way over here? What's your...
Well, kind of like the guy said, like every song, basically it's just like a diary of our whole lives, everything we've gone through over the last couple of years. As far as, I'd just say Let It Go, because that one, for me personally, in my personal life, is like a lot of stuff that Lee pretty much said everything I wanted to say in that song, and I'm like a fan, and I'm going, yeah, this is what it means to me. But as far as live goes, it's got to be Last Man right now. It's just because the song is where it is and what it's become, that you could just feel the energy on stage when, you know, Tony's riff, that and then it just hits and you just see everybody's light up. So right now, for me, Last Man's got to be my favorite one to play live.
See, and that was a perfect segue, because my last question for you guys before we get out of here, before you guys die from the heat and we turn the air off, is if you guys could tour with anybody, past or present, alive, dead, disbanded, whatever, who would you guys collectively like to go out on tour with?
Pantera, Motley Crue.
I could dig that. I wouldn't mind going out with Led Zeppelin.
Guns N' Roses.
Yeah, that'd be fun too. I don't know if we could survive some of those
Guns N'
tours,
Roses,
though.
Pantera, Motley Crue.
I mean, I'd say all those that the guys mentioned too, but I mean, Stone Temple Pilots would be awesome. Aerosmith would be rocking. You know, I mean, I'll tell you what, Papa Roach has been awesome too.
Oh,
you know, I mean, we grew up Papa Roach fans, and it's always fun to kind of play with a band that's relevant at the time. They're still just as big,
Right.
You know, and to have them be as cool and kind of take us on as little brothers, you know, and just. I always say our favorite bands are the bands that we tour with, and you meet all over again. You fall in love with their band all over again, you know.
Drowning
Drowning
Pool.
Pool,
Great example, you know. Just this experience, you know. Like we were saying earlier, you know, whatever we thought the clip notes of being a rock and roll band or a rock star would be, it's nothing like that, you know. I mean, when it happens to you, it's different, you know. You got to understand the responsibility that you have with your fans, with you guys, with
It's way better,
you know,
and it's way worse.
Well,
yeah, it's exactly. It's way better.
It's changed in the sense that, you know, that whole rock star thing really isn't there so much anymore. I was talking to Rick from Adelita's Way.
Right.
He was saying he went out with Tyler from Theory.
Yeah.
And they went down to a club. Couldn't get into the club. Here they are, the rock stars. But Kim Kardashian pushes right in. And that's what it's become. These no-talent people have become the rock stars, and the rock stars have become everyday people who are just making great music. And it's great to see you guys get in there, and you know, every night after a show, you're out there talking to the fans, and there's that greater connection.
Yeah, you know, and I always preach that it's education. You know, like I think the fans need to understand like how hard it is to break. You know, and for our kids' futures, you know, to be able to have, you know, I don't want to look at my kids one day and say, you know, don't be a rock star, because there's no hope for it. You gotta literally. I mean, we've had to sell everything, move. I mean, if you want to stay relevant with all the bands. I mean, you can go to Walmart and get a guitar these days, or an 8-track. You know what I mean? Like, didn't have that 10 years ago. You know, but in order to stay relevant, you got to stay on the road. I mean, we don't have any plans of going home. You know, so this is it. It's do or die. You know, and I think that's where the mindset needs to be. So when fans become educated, that it's important to buy the dollar, whether it's Pop Evil or Adelaide Way, Theory of a Dead Man, whoever you like. You know, like, supporting rock and roll is important, because the record labels and those people in power that make the decisions don't care about us. They don't care about our genre of music like they once did, unless you're Lady Gaga or someone that's going to be here and you know, today, maybe gone tomorrow. I mean, and nothing against Lady Gaga. I just think it's important to understand that, you know, there's people that follow bands, and those people are rock and roll the people. You know what I mean?
Right.
They go to live shows. They're not just going because the single's hot right now. They follow their bands for long periods of time, and that's, you know, I think where that needs to start, educating those people to let them know that, you know, the little things matter now more than ever.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. It's hard in this economy because everybody's looking to cut corners, and now the music's so accessible, they can basically steal it, pirate it, whatever you want to say. But they don't realize we've said our entire lives rock and roll will never die. But if it's going to die, it's going to be because of our own greed, not supporting the bands, because we all assume they're all these rock stars with lots of money.
Right.
It isn't that way. You probably got as much money in your pocket as I've got in mine.
Now you
saying
got me.
anything.
Now you got me fired. Now you got me fired up
I
about
don't even have
Kardashians. You gotta kick one of them in the head.
Well, guys,
Comments to a minimum.
yeah, I could sit here and talk with you for another hour, but I know you got to get ready to do things, so we'll have to sit down and do this next time we're in the same town together. Anything that you guys would like to say to the fans before we get out of here?
Well, we thank you guys for all the support of Pop Evil. We got some great music coming ahead, and I hope to see you guys on the road. We got a lot of great shows coming.
We got a new fan site up too.
Evil-nation.com. So make sure you sign up there, because all free things that we can give away, we're giving away exclusive to that site.
Boycott
And,
the Kardashians.
Got a couple free songs on the Facebook page. So again, hope to see you guys out on tour, man. Thank you for your support.
Absolutely. See, this is where I'm waiting for you guys to go, this is the end.
Yeah.
Well, this is Rustin with Metalholic. We're Metalholics. Are you?
Hell yeah!
We're so drunk on metal.
Thanks, guys. And if
Metal
you
up
guys,
your ass.
if you guys
She's